Customer trust. You can't buy it, you can only earn it. And without it, customers won't buy from you. So let's talk about trust. Hi, I'm Daniel Burstein, Director of Editorial Content at Marketing Sherpa. We're here at the Marketing Sherpa Media Center at IRCE. Joining me now is Bill Aker, Chief Marketing Officer of MusicNotes.com. We're going to talk about trust, Bill. So on Music Notes, you sell downloadable sheet music, right?
Yes.
And you found that by adding trust marks, you added trust marks in the past, and it didn't really have much of an effect, right?
Right, yeah, we actually had done a lot of testing of trust marks, and in some instances we actually had found that, this is several years ago, that actually introducing trust marks was causing negative impact on our conversion. Most of our theory came down to the fact that we were introducing a question of trust when that issue hadn't existed already in people's minds. So we had made some changes and done a lot of different testing and tried to figure out where, in what instances, and where should we be putting trust marks. So we made some changes back then.
So let's take a look at one of your pages now and see where you are adding trust marks and what type of impact it's having now.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago we had tested with a company called BuySafe, just on security and making sure people felt secure with their identity online and stuff, and we actually didn't see very much of an impact of that from that, so we didn't go forward with it. But then there was a lot of the data breaches and credit card information being stolen and stuff like that, and a lot of the focus on on the news and everything had been on people's privacy and their credit card information and everything. So we were like, okay, let's try this again. And we were contacted by Norton's, which is the new people who bought the BuySafe company. And we ran a test and said, okay, yeah, fine, we'll do a test again and we'll see what happens. Maybe things are different. And actually it turned out it was different. We ended up seeing a 5% lift by showing that, and we actually saw a lot of positive feedback. Over 2/3 of the feedback we're getting from customers is explicitly positive. The rest of it is kind of just in between, thank you type messages, and less than 1% have been negative about any kind of messaging. Mostly it was people thinking that they had to pay for something or something like that, which wasn't the case, so we just dealt with those issues ourselves. So people have shown a definite change in what they're concerned with, and this privacy and having your data and your customer shopper records and credit card data and stuff like that stored and secure, and having kind of an insurance policy behind that has really helped out a lot for people to feel safe giving us their information.
So we're looking at one of your product pages right now. This is sheet music for an Ed Sheeran song, it looks like it. And so you have a trust mark right below the add to cart button, and also one that's pervasive on the site, I think, in the lower left of your site, right?
Right.
And you said a 5% lift from adding these trust marks?
Yeah, it was a 5% lift. I was actually, honestly surprised to see it, because it was against a lot of our prior learnings. But, like I said, we're a company who tries to look at, things from a constantly testing, environment. Things change all the time. The landscape is always changing, and we said we go ahead with the test, and it was a very positive response, much different than last time. I mean, it wasn't that we had a negative response before, but again, people's concerns have definitely changed over the last few years. Previous to this, we had done a lot of messaging about virus-free and spyware-free and things like that with our software that we have for people to use their sheet music, because those were the things that were important to people at that time. What was in the news was all the viruses that were out there, and you can it's not safe to download things on the internet, and that's not really, not like it's changed much, but what people are focusing on in the media and what you see the articles about and the big news stories are data, access to data and all this data that can get recently there was the IRS hack or whatever, and people are very concerned with that kind of things, and
so let me
those fears.
see if I understand that statistic you said before. You said around 60% of people actually wrote you in about the trust mark, or am I
so not 60% of people who would email us, but so when we have people get this, they get an email with the so every order people get another email from Norton that says, hey, you've also gotten this free safe shopping guarantee courtesy of Music Notes, and kind of goes over the details of it for them, and gives them an automatic way to respond and say thank you to us or whatever. And the default thing is just just messaging and say thanks or whatever. But 2/3 of the people actually went the extra step to actually write us full-on emails about, I saw on the news the other day that 97% of of customer data isn't safe, or all these different kinds of statistics that are top of people's minds, and saying like, I feel so much safer, thank you for doing this for me, I really appreciate this, which is pretty
That's
interesting.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, people generally don't take the time to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
wow.
when my customer support team came to me and told me that we've had like 3,000 responses over the last couple months, and
3,000 people emailing you about the
yeah,
Trustmark.
yeah, and I mean, I was really surprised at that. So, I was, and above all, our customer support team was actually the team that was most concerned with this. Is like, are people going to, have issues or complain? They said it's actually probably one of our best things we've ever added to the site. People feel real happy about it. Anybody who does have a concern, super easy to deal with. But most everybody has just been very gracious to feel secure.
Now, Trustmark's one thing, but you also, if we look at another page on your site, have a very prominent privacy policy, a very clear privacy policy, I think, right?
Right, yeah. So when you create an account on our site, especially during checkout, we make sure we share what our privacy policy is, and we're very honest with what we do with it. I mean, we're going to email you unless you tell us not to, and we're not going to share your personal data with anybody else, but we are going to have to like send over email addresses to our our email providers to be able to email you. But having that information there in our tests is also very helpful. And on that page, we also added, that's where we added our secure safe shopping guarantee thing here. We found in our testing that having the McAfee Secure badge, especially as far as like server security goes and software, that was important to have here. But elsewhere throughout the site, it wasn't important. So if people had a question, they could get an answer and say, oh wow, okay, this site is actually secure. It's been tested daily by McAfee. It's safe to do it. But introducing that as a question to everybody wasn't helpful. So we had to move it so it only existed in spots where we were actively looking for that information.
Yeah, it makes sense. If they actively have that anxiety,
Yes.
don't bring it up if they actively.
Yeah, so we've got it there, easy to access, but we don't kind of shove it in your face like, oh, hey, we're safe. You're not going to, you're not get our servers aren't going to get hacked or whatever. But the safe shopping guarantee thing was a little bit different, where people, it's kind of different because the one there, it's for like downloading software and things like that, and it's like, is what we have on our site safe from a technology standpoint? And then the Norton Safe Shopping is more like, anytime I'm sharing any information with you, is that safe? And so introducing those kind of messages in different spaces, show different responses. So what we have right now is kind of a sweet spot, we think.
Let's take a look at some of your content too, because customers don't only have anxiety over privacy policies and over security and getting hacked. They also have anxiety over, hey, am I buying a good product? And for people buying music, I think there's a lot of passion there. And I can see you yourself. We see you're a band geek. You're pretty passionate. Yeah. And now you can see on this camera, your ring has music notes on it.
Yeah, my little music notes ring too. Yeah, yeah. I love music. I played in band in grade school and high school and college. Was a trumpet player. I've had pianos, or I have a piano. My kids take piano lessons. I've had guitars and stuff. So I'm real into it. Most people at Music Notes are passionate musicians. We have a lot of music PhDs. People who are in bands. We're in Madison, Wisconsin. A lot of local band people there and stuff. So, but what's important, so yeah, that pervades our culture for sure. And we've got guitars on the wall and everything. People pick up and play. And we try to share that. But what we do, as far as content goes, recently we've started getting into the choral market a bit more. It's a new market we're getting into, and in particular, over the last 15 years, we've done a good job building up trust throughout and knowledge of who we are and everything throughout our core market. But as we go into the choral market, it's a whole new level of trust that's being built there. We're talking to new customers who are buying for a little more institutions and buying for other people, and what is it that's important to them. So we hired a director of choral catalog, Jonathan Miller, who's actually here in Chicago. He's the director of Chicago Acapella, so a great world-class acapella group. And he's been in the choir space for decades. So he has come on and has helped us, understand what is important for choral people when they're shopping. So we've done testing of different experience changes, but also like adding exclusive content to the site. And in this example here, he's on our blog. We try to share a lot of information of what we can to help people, know what it is we sell and just other things that are like lifestyle interest or whatever. But this post was about a bunch of new pop choral pieces that we arranged ourselves, added to the site. He works with he knows a bunch of arrangers who then arrange the pieces. And we went through and he gives people examples of what the song is like, what kind of group would it be good to sing with, What kind of people are you going to need to have in your choir? What mood is it? We actually even commissioned full audio performances from a choral group, and they perform our arrangements of the songs, so people could hear in context what our choral arrangements would sound like, if they were to perform them themselves. So we've added a lot of hot new content ahead of time, before it would go out through normal channels. One of the benefits we have, we're trying to explain that to people here, like if you want it, we're going to have it first, and it's also high quality. So we let people preview the entire piece now of the choral piece before they buy. They can flip through the entire page. They can hear a preview of it in MIDI. We also got, like I said, for some of these full audio performances of the music, so people can get an idea as to what it is they want. Because it's important for us to people to know, if you're going to make that investment to buy some music, it's not very expensive, but once you start getting into the practice and stuff like that, this is people preparing months for a choral concert. We want to make sure that they know that what they're getting is a high quality arrangement that's going to something that they can showcase and perform and be proud of when they go out, in the public with it.
Oh, thank you for some great tips on overcoming customer anxiety in terms of the security of their information, privacy policy, and also importantly that you have a high quality product for them.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. You can get much more tips and tactics, marketing case studies, and marketing industry data at marketingsherpa.com.